Okay, we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome, everybody. It's great to be back with you all today, and I'm really happy to be here with Starfish Jennie
Hello.
and
Hi.
and Juno from the Junosphere. Yeah,
Hey.
Hey,
ladies, I got the
everybody.
two J's. I got the two J's coming in today. So, yeah. So the really good news is that both Juno and Jennie do akashic record readings, as well as other things, tarot readings, oracle readings, psychic readings, whatever. And so we want to open up and offer those to you. But I am going to, we're going to have a little chat first. I'll say hi to everybody, and then I'm going to let Jennie talk about how you want to frame your question if you want an akashic reading. It's always great to frame your questions the very best you can for any reading. You know, in other words, saying I'd like a message from spirit doesn't really tell us what area that you want it from, or, you know, so if you can be a little more specific, it's helpful. But with the Akash, you have to really pinpoint what it is that you're wanting to find out. So let us get to that in just a moment then. So, hello, everybody. I'm glad you're all here. And Christine Fryer's here, and Roxy. And yes, I see that Christine said that the breaking news is that Colorado said that Trump cannot be on their ballot in their Colorado Supreme Court. And, you know, it's probably going to be refuted and sent up to the higher court because that's what they do. But, you know, if we go from just Colorado, we have one state at least that won't do it. The Supreme Court will have to weigh in on it for every state. So it will affect a lot of things. It's very interesting. So,
Well, even just moving the energy in a different direction before Christmas is upon us, or the end of the year, even all of that.
Yes, thank you, especially with the Hitlerish comments over the weekend that were made about the blood of immigrants and all these other things. It's just so divisive and horrific for certainly any time, but this time of year it's even worse.
And unnecessary. Yeah, that's the thing.
Absolutely. So hello, Christine and Patricia, and who else came flying in here? We're happy to have you all. Craig Dixon. And who else is here? Mousy, Samantha, and Laurie Hunsinger, Laura Hammond Davis. Samantha, butterfly kisses. Good to see you, honey. Mary Thornberry, I got your email, and we'll read on it tomorrow night on your dream. That's wonderful. Hi, Rossi. Nice to see you too. And okay. Mousy, I got your question. We're going to talk about it in a few minutes. How about that? That would be great. Carolyn and Peter Booker, it's good to see you as well. Ellen R., today is a big news day. You are absolutely right. Ziggy and Randy Gardner, I hope you're doing well in your travels, Randy. It's always nice to see you here, honey. All right. Very good. So let's just take a look at what Mousy was asking about, and you've got a really cool group of ladies here in the chat and certainly with us today that can help show what they believe will be helpful. I'm going to actually put up this other one. I need help to put up more protections around my empathy. Everything seems to be hurting my soul. All I want to do is cry. And there goes Juno's train of thought.
I love that train.
The love train's on its way, Mousy, to bolster you and strengthen you and surround you with lots of love. Just picture you're like that Christmas tree, that you know how the train goes around the bottom of the tree. So that love train is just encircling you round and round and round. I think that's part of the message here. And yeah, I had another thing, but I went out the window with the train, so I'll be quiet for a minute.
Okay, you can think about it. Jennie, you go ahead and tell us about.
Well, I'm ready. Then you can jump in, Juno. Okay, so protection for an empath. I used to get so upset when I would see, like, you know, a herding dog by the side of the road or something. I mean, I just didn't know how to control it. So every once in a while I get a reading from an angel called Dr. Peebles, and I asked him, what in the world should I do? And even if you're cut off in traffic and it makes you, you know, anything that makes you upset, he said, all you have to do is pray for the situation, pray for the person, pray for whatever it is that's upsetting you, give it over to God and let it go. And that really has helped me so much because I am an empath. I mean, being around like thousands of people will just knock me down. But so that's one thing you can do. But then also every day before I step out the door, I ask Archangel Michael to put me in a big, thick, I always say thick for some reason, bubble of protection against anything bad, any viruses, illness, anything. And then when I get in my car, I ask the angels to put white light around my car. And sometimes if I'm feeling particularly nervous, I'll say, can I have an angel on the front and an angel in the back, and maybe an angel driver. But definitely just whatever upsets you, just pray about it, give it to source, and then you'll start to learn how to not be so affected by it, because you getting upset is not helping the world, and it's certainly not helping you. But praying about it and giving it over to God really does help.
What I
Wonderful.
just remember what I was going to say, and this doesn't pertain to so much like you were referring like the animal on the road or whatever, but when you're in a situation with people and you can see that what you have to help with is not being accepted or whatever, however that is, where this is more dealing with people. But I've learned to say, one of my psychic friends here in Tucson taught me this: my give a damn is broken. Sometimes just to have something else, so you're not hooked into whatever is their drama, whatever is it all about. Sometimes my give a damn is just broken right now, and I'd have to just turn it off. And it's not with everything, but sometimes I just have to get to that point, and that's how I cope with it. That's like my signal to myself. Okay, not like a Spinal Tap where they had it up to 11. It brings it back down to a much lower number. That then I can cope with it and put it in perspective. But sometimes it's like giving myself permission to have a little time out from whatever that is that's going on. Not my circus, not my monkeys kind of thing, because most of it is. And I'm just saying, I can't even watch Bambi. I'm so sensitive to any of that stuff. So I totally know what you mean. And I'm certainly not a heartless person, but sometimes there's a dead end situation going on. Like, okay, that's just, you can't have any.
About boundaries, putting a protective boundary around yourself.
And it's also giving you something to tell yourself instead of just putting it in somebody else's hands. It's taking some control, taking some responsibility for, you're not just out there waiting for something outside yourself to make you feel better. You're saying, this is where I stand. This is what I can handle. This is what I can't handle. And I think that's part of our protection too, is knowing we can protect ourselves.
So
I've got
there is something
Michael here who's so big his foot covers the entire scope of my property. Terry Suzuki always tells me that. So, these things do work and can attract energy to protect you on that level. It's not just me.
Absolutely. I think though that there is something to be said for allowing yourself to cry. And we don't want to be in a puddle mess all the time, because it's too hard to work within the realms. But I know that if I have been pushing back and trying to be strong for a very long period of time, and something really stupid can happen, like I can trip and and cut my finger or whatever it is, I don't know. And I'll just burst out crying like it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I know that it isn't that. It's just the catalyst to get me to cry. So allow that to today. Okay. So usually, and it can be cleansing. Yes. I can usually distance myself. Today's just being hard. Absolutely understand. Those are some days that we do have. And one of the things I remember Arthur from Ease Your Mind said the other day, which really spoke to me, was he said to put copper. Like if you have to go to the grocery store, I hate going to the grocery store because all that negative energy and stuff in there. It says put some copper on if you have it, copper bracelet or something, and it helps you to stay sort of out of the energy of everybody else. And Jenny was saying that it's also good for arthritis. So, it's very important for us to remember that there are fixes for us, but also to forgive ourselves, Mousy. It's not it isn't you doing anything wrong. And there are times we are more sensitive than others. Yeah.
And crying releases toxic protein, so it's healthy for us to cry. And not, I mean, within reason, just like anything in moderation. But good, healthy cry can do you a lot of good.
But once you've cried and gotten that out, and to get yourself to the next level, either watch a funny TV show, watch a funny YouTube, watch puppy YouTubes. There's one called a girl with the dogs, and she's amazing. She's a dog groomer.
That's great. Yeah.
And she's very funny. And then Juno has one that she likes. So, and then also play music that you love. Play music that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And what I started doing is wave my arms in the air, just like a crazy person, just kind of sit. Even if I'm sitting in my chair, it really shifts the energy. Even before I do reading. Yeah, exactly. I started to do that, and you're going to be amazed at how much you feel better,
Like that?
Yeah, just wave your arms around and shift that energy. It's very, and then if you do it in the mirror, you make yourself laugh. It's even better.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And that's when the postman comes and sees you, and then you just go, oh, hi.
Close what close?
So I love some of the other advice, and thank you for offering it. Froxy says it's okay to be sad and cry. Go ahead. Have a good cry. You'll feel better. You're stronger than you think. Thank you.
That's right.
And Samantha says bubbles of white light. Absolutely. Christine says, I see myself standing in bright light and ask to give me the strength. Good for you. I love these. And this one is amazing book. If I'm not grounded, I can feel and act drunk just by watching a drunk on TV.
Oh, wow. I need to meet Bewitched.
I know it. I know. Do you remember Frankie Fontaine from the Jackie Gleason show?
Yes.
Yes.
And Foster Brooks did a good drunk too.
Oh, yes, he did.
Oh, yeah.
He did. Of course, now people would be saying that was picking on people that are alcoholics or something. But anyway, it was fun when it lasted.
But it's not.
Yeah. I know. Yep.
So
Mousy, I hope that helps a little bit, but please just know that it's a-okay.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with it. And we've all been there. And we may all be back there again at some point. But that's why I'm glad you asked the question and that you shared that today with us.
We all go through that, I mean, you see us on here when we're at our best and we're laughing and having a good time, but we all have our little roller coasters of emotions behind the scenes for stuff. So
that's right.
You're not alone.
You're not alone. Yeah.
You have really some copper wire. There you go. Yeah. Hi, water bearer. Hi. Some other folks have come in the door here today. Arlene's here and Charlie's here and Annie's here. And thank you all for being here. I'm not trying to miss out on anybody. I'm just looking back as far back as I can. Book says my kids are highly empathic and would be upset by something they'd see. So we created a ritual of chanting, be safe, be safe, be safe 3 times. And they still do it. I love that.
Great.
That's a great affirmation. Yes. All right. Wonderful.
I like that.
Yes. Arthur carries old pennies. Yes, he does. Prior to, I think, 1980, they were made out of copper. Yep. I love this too, Laura. Thank you. Give someone a smile and then it comes back. And thank you, Butterfly. Hope everyone has a blessed holiday and New Year filled with love, joy, peace, and abundance of all things for our highest good. Bless you, dear. You too. Absolutely. All right. So let's see. Oh, yes. Comedy is wonderful. Gonna listen to my Give a Damn is Busted. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just need that out just to give yourself permission. Like I can't, I got enough on my plate. Thank you very much.
That's right.
In 1986, I think, or 87, I took a flu shot and I didn't get out of bed for 2 years. I went down. And so the first year I watched old movies. But the second and third year, I watched the Comedy Channel. And it actually gave me a great sense of humor. I think I credit that for teaching me how to be funny.
That's awesome. And for me, it's some of the older movies, but I also love to watch the reruns of Saturday Night Live in the heyday.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
back
now,
in the
but more in the
day, yeah.
heyday. You know, Chris Farley and all those guys. Yeah. Patricia says, I do what I can to practice coming back to the heart center of my eternal essence, to clear myself and observe and witness. It's a practice every moment.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, dear.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you guys are wonderful. You have a lot of really great advice here for us. All right. So, Jenny, there are people that already have questions in here, like Carolyn is, did I ever live in Egypt? And Mary has, do I have a connection to George Washington? I don't know if that's specific enough for Akashic
I
Records.
think it is.
Those two are? Okay.
You know,
So give the other people, what
So,
else that you would
when you're
want.
asking a question of the Akashic Records masters, everybody has two masters. So everybody in the chat has two. And when we talk to them, we're talking to your masters, and we might be talking to ours too. But so it's better to like focus in on what exactly you want to know from them. Because if you give them a very broad question, you're going to get a very broad answer that's not really going to be helpful. So you can ask like, was there a lifetime, or which lifetime? Did I carry through to this lifetime, and was I sick in this lifetime because of that? Or what lifetime did I learn my gifts, and what are my gifts? Things like that.
Things like that. Okay.
What do you think?
So if we find that there's one that's not quite as crystal clear as it should be, Jenny, you tell us, and then we'll ask for more clarity if that's the case. But,
okay. Which one is that?
Looks like the ones we got are okay. So, all right. Let's go with the first one. We've got Annie Hamlet. She says she's been having a pain in her third eye for 2 weeks. Do you have any insights? I have too. So I'm going to just see what we figure out here.
So are we all reading on each person, or are we taking turns? How are we doing this?
You're not reading probably from the Akasha on this one. You're reading just either card or psychically. I don't know.
No, but I'm saying in the rotation.
I understand what you're saying. Okay. I'm just thinking that we could all do it. If we did it a short thing, then we could all read. But if it gets too, I don't have to read if you guys.
No, go right ahead.
Yeah.
No. We want you to read. I just wanted to understand.
That's all right, Juno. I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah.
With the three of us, I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, I have a question of her. Is it directly in the center of your forehead, or is it like this?
Okay.
That just came to my mind for some reason.
That's all right. So Annie, is it right, just your third eye, or does it go more out as well into your forehead? All right. Nothing just yet. Center of her forehead.
You want me to go?
Go right ahead, Juno. Yep.
For Annie, thanks for your question. And I pulled for you from the Akashic Tarot. I pulled the Two of Forces, and it's the Willow tree. So that reminds me, they say that willow doesn't break in the wind. Of course, with a severe wind it does, but it's more flexible, more just bends and goes with the flow. And it's also talks about grounding. And I think that I feel like you're on the verge. Whenever you have a sensation in that area, I think that it's an opening. And it's a combination of the effects of what's been going on astrologically, and everything else with our environment and with the veil and stuff. But this also is affecting you on a physical level. And a lot of times when people go through such a profound opening of their third eye, they lose that sense of grounding. So I think this willow tree is reminding you to stay grounded. And I read recently, they talked about don't look in the branches for what's only available in the roots.
Ooh.
So keep things in perspective, keep things focused, but you're on your way. And I think I'm really excited for you. I feel really good openings for you, good, exciting things, but focus on the tree, be grounded, but stay flexible like the willow. It's not an oak tree in this case. It's a willow. So.
The willow and they bend.
Yeah.
I agree with Juno 100%. I think your third eye is opening. I think that's part of your ascension symptoms, and to help that, probably ground and meditate every day, but go outside and put your feet on the grass if you can, if you're not in a really, really cold climate. I would do that to ground and
ground yourself. Yeah.
And if you can't get outside, get a plastic dishpan or something and put some sand or something in it that's comfortable for your feet, but that an earthy thing, and bring it in your house and sit there with your feet in it. That's another way you can ground, especially in the wintertime when it's too cold to go outside.
And eat grounding foods like root vegetables. I don't eat meat a lot, but maybe some meat.
And doing this isn't going to shut down or slow your process with opening your third eye. It's going to enhance it, but it's going to keep it finer tuned and in perspective.
So I get the exact same thing. You got Kuthumi, which is the initiation experience. And it says here, your current situation is initiating your gifts. And as soon as I pulled this card, I recognized that was what was going on with me as well. I know I'm getting downloads. Mine was spreading out more. And because last week I didn't feel good all week, and I felt like it might be sinuses, but I really believe that it could have been just a part of it. Like my sinuses weren't happy with me, but then my third eye was being busy. So I really think that you also have initiated your gifts, and so enjoy. But grounding would help you to balance the two. So I agree with that.
And in Jin Shin Jutsu, the forehead, like just on either side, like right above your eye on either side of the forehead, those safety energy locks, that's called seeing as the creator sees. So if you want to work with that energy and help manifest it more fully, you can just hold your fingertips to your forehead there, and that will help make that jumper cable connection to bring the energy in. So I hope that's helpful.
Ooh. Peter Booker says aspirin is made from willow and the tribes used to chew on it.
Exactly.
Awesome. You're most welcome, dear. Thank you for the question. All right. So Carolyn wonders if she has lived in Egypt. So there you go, ladies.
Well, are we talking ancient Egypt, modern Egypt? Here's another, opportunity to be a little more specific.
So is there a lifetime that Carolyn has lived in Egypt? I guess do you want to know how far back that you want us to go, Carolyn? So just let us know.
I already got her in ancient Egypt.
Oh, you do?
Wearing beautiful, colorful clothing. Not like a priestess, more like a princess.
Ooh.
That's what I see. Someone very wealthy with lots of jewels. Actually, I see the jewels over your forehead, like a necklace would be.
Yep.
And And sometimes when you reincarnate in one place, and if you liked it, you'll go back there
We'll go back there.
again and again and again and again. So you could have had one back then, and then you could have also had one, in 1940 or 50 or whenever.
Yes,
So
that's true.
mhm.
She wanted to know
And
about ancient, though. Ancient.
if you're interested, that's a clue
Mm-hmm.
that you have been there. And I would say that was a very happy life, very happy life.
That's wonderful.
I think you were surrounded by like 10-year-olds. I see, like, not babies, not grown kids, but like fun 10-year-olds. Like, so I think you had a lot of children.
Oh, cool.
And a lot of animals. You were rich, like really rich. So you had lots of animals, and you were happy, very happy. So, okay, take it away, Juno.
That was really great. Thanks, Jenny. And I pulled a card from the Akashic Tarot to see what they would have to say. And I got the Three of Keys, which is the chess game.
Mm.
So to me, that gives me the feeling that, back there you were involved, possibly in government or in some way where you had to think a few steps ahead. It could even be one of the women that were there for the king. You thought about how to maximize your opportunities. But it also talks about, not getting involved or in battles or allegiances. What I thought this was interesting, it says to help you, to give you some insights how you can work with this yourself. It says, close your eyes and feel yourself upon a chessboard and really put yourself there and take a look around you. See what other players are there and how you feel about them and what do you want your next move to be. And what that's telling me is that you can tune into that past life or whichever, however many of those that you want, but you can get more information on that by putting yourself in this chessboard. And for some reason, this chessboard, maybe because of the geometry of it, but to me, it translates to pyramid in a way. Do you know what I mean? Looking at the structure of it and everything. So it kind of seems like a natural connection there. But it's something that you did that you were involved in planning things out or, looking a few steps ahead. But I feel like it was more than just for your own self and safety. It had to do with on a bigger purpose.
Yeah, very smart woman, very savvy.
Definitely.
So what do I pull? I pull Michael and Faith, spiritual calling, divine protection, and a breakthrough moment. I'm thinking that this was a lifetime with Peter and that you were having in ancient Egypt. And with the two of them there, and also with the idea of it being a spiritual calling, that you were there together, at least in this one life that was further back, because you wouldn't have met him otherwise, probably. We meet the people that we've spent their past lives with. So that's awesome.
Well, when you meet somebody you had a past life with, you know it immediately.
Yeah.
You might not know it was a past life, but you're like, wow, what? It's almost like you get kicked in the chest.
You do, yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
So Carolyn said she worked at Highclere Castle and wanted to work in the digs. That's really cool.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Carolyn. So I just want to mention, I forgot to mention, at 6:00 tonight, I'm on with Juanita from Juanita's Review, who is in the chat today. So if you get a chance to come in, she's a really good reader and she hasn't been on too many times. So it would be wonderful to have her. So, all right. So Mary Thornberry wonders, did I have a connection to George Washington?
Well, as soon as you asked that question, I put your name, with George, and I'm like, Mary Washington. That's probably just my brain, my ego brain. So we'll ask the masters. Go, Juno.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and say, I get Gaia, that you were a resilient spirit. Mary, I'm going to say yes. And it's very interesting that this person that shows up on this picture is African American. And I wonder if you were one of his slaves.
I got a young boy. She
Oh,
was
you
a
do?
young boy working in the household.
Okay.
It's
Probably
funny.
African American?
Yeah, it's
Slave?
hard to
Yeah.
say that, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really hard for me to say that, you know.
I know. That's all right. Yep.
But I do think that you were working in the household, and so working in the household is better than working outside.
That's true.
I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I think you had a special place in their hearts. I think your personality and the way you beamed out the light in you
Mm-hmm.
just by doing your regular daily activities and who you were. That you had a good relationship with them, and everybody, all of them loved you.
Mm,
That's what I got.
okay.
Well, I pulled from the Akashic Tarot again for Mary Thornberry. I pulled the King of Forces. And when I read the description of this card, one of the things it says, this may be a love interest for you. So I find that very curious. And to me, the King of Forces really signifies George Washington himself. I mean, he was a force to
Yeah.
be reckoned with on a lot of levels, but a very loving force. So if you did know him back then, I feel like it was somebody who was kind to you, somebody who you had a lot of respect for. Yeah.
She has always felt she was a part of the night when Washington fled New York, crossed the Delaware through the fog all night, long guided by, yes, I will say it, the Mother Mary.
Yeah.
So if you feel that, then that's the truth.
Right. Exactly.
Your soul knows that and remembers that.
Yeah. And she had no shoes and it was freezing. That's why I thought she was a slave.
Yeah. But, you know, to say it's a love interest can mean somebody like it could be your commander on that boat. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know, that's how you would look at him because you were there serving him. And I think a lot of the people who did serve on him really did love him.
And I think that he actually loved you too. I think he thought a lot of you.
I think he was a loving person. I think he had a lot of integrity. Not saying he didn't have his flaws, but and this card, as soon as I turned this card over, when I looked at it, it made me think of that crossing in the Delaware. It kind of has that outdoorsy, even though it's not the exact thing, but it had that same vibe. But he's got the energy there of the wolf, and and the elk. There's different animals there that give him strength, and they lived outdoors. They were,
they did.
They weren't sitting by the fire very often, all cozy, comfy. So,
wow, Mary. Just by virtue of the fact that you had such a strong connection in your own mind, it would tell me that you absolutely are spot on. Really.
So my question to you, Mary, is what attributes do you think you brought forward from that life, which seemingly was a fantastic lifetime? Even though you were a slave, there was a lot of love and you were trusted, and I think you had some authority because people trusted you. So how do you bring that forward now? Because I think you do.
She does. Yeah. Wow.
And that's the thing about when we look at these past lives, it isn't to take on what happened there and to, oh, woe is me, I went through, but it's like it helps fill out parts. For me,
It
it's filled
does.
in holes that, like missing
Clarity.
links. Like, why do I feel this way about this weird subject? And then,
Absolutely.
oh, well, it has to do with that. So it doesn't matter if every word is accurate or whatever. It's the feeling that you get and what you pull from what we tell you and how you put it together. That's where the true beauty of these kind of readings is.
That's
And
very true.
have you ever been to Mount Vernon? That's my next question.
Yeah, I
Did
have.
you ever
And
visit
it's
Mount
gorgeous.
Vernon,
Yeah.
Mary?
Mhm.
Yeah, Mary, let us know. Yeah.
I would go. If you haven't been, I would go.
Yep.
And, go to DC.
That's true, Mousy. Many of the soldiers had bad or no shoes to protect them.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The birth of democracy, and it was attacked always and still. Wow. No wonder why you're feeling that, especially, Mary, because you're seeing it over and over again being done. So, wow. Thank you, dear. Cynthia, I'm going to come back to you because we are looking at, I'm going to go to Karen because we're looking at past life. And since we're in that flow, I will definitely come back to your question, however. So Karen says, I have a connection to Abraham Lincoln's, I think she meant assassination, since I was about 9. Did I know him? There's a wonderful CNN special on Abraham Lincoln. It's got like 6 to 8 parts, Karen. You might want to check it out.
I'm getting that you were there when he was murdered.
Mm-hmm. One of the theater goers, perhaps?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A bystander. I don't want to say that doesn't sound right, but a theater goer, that sounds better.
Yeah.
And you were so horrified, so absolutely horrified, and you were also like a patriot, so you really believed in his work. You believed in his work and what he was doing, and when you saw that happen, it really kind of cut you in a way that you haven't really forgotten. That's what I'm getting. I have to say it. I mean, it sounds very depressing, but that's what I'm getting. So, but we can clear that memory.
That's true. You don't have to live with. You can just be an observer. You don't have to feel that in your body. You can clear it. Yeah. Juno?
Well, it's interesting. I pulled for Karen from the Akashic Tarot again. I pulled Archangel Gabriel, card 3, number 3. So this is about the communication, and what occurred to me to piggyback on what Jennie got was not only were you there and witnessed it, but you gave an account of it. And it was it was really difficult, but it was through Archangel Gabriel who came through and gave you the strength to recount to whether it was a newspaper reporter or you wrote it down and diaried it somewhere. There's something that you have written down.
Wow.
And
I can feel that in my heart. My heart is just going.
Yeah. That it was
This
important that there was some importance to your documenting it, though. It wasn't just for your own, like, dear diary, this happened today. It had bigger connotations than that. And the little exercise, it says to feel Archangel Gabriel step before you and place his hands upon you. He fills you with the will to express your words. What do you want to share and with whom? So maybe you can work on some like automatic writing or channel it, and maybe that can come through. Maybe you will remember what you wrote or parts of it or something. Maybe there'll be some phrases. I feel like you're going to write down some phrases and then you're going to research and you're going to find that exact phrase or more than one when you go and do some research after you do this writing. So
that's awesome.
I hope that's helpful, Karen.
I also was thinking about John Wilkes Booth and his running away. So piggybacking on what Juno said, I think that you were able to give a very specific description. And unlike some people, I mean, some people were so freaked out they couldn't do it. And like what he had on, the shoes, the everything that helped them track him. So you were really important.
Wow. Hypnicity's hearing extra, thinking it might be Karen might have been a journalist. So yeah,
That's a possibility.
it's a possibility. So Karen, I didn't pull a card. I have a very close tie to him as well. My feeling is that I was the 9-year-old girl that was the one that told Lincoln to grow a beard. And there was a little girl that told him to. And when I was in 6th grade, I remember somebody asked me what I would like to have. If I could meet anybody, who would I like to meet? And I said, Abraham Lincoln. And they laughed and laughed because he's dead. But I didn't laugh because I must have already known.
Wow.
Yeah. So Karen, you and I have that in common. Yeah. Something in common with him. Thank you.
I used to date a guy who was a direct descendant of John Wilkes Booth.
Oh my. Well, I'm a direct descendant of Benedict Arnold.
I know. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Shared a fence line back in the day up in Canada.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was an uncle or something. Yeah.
Lincoln suffered a lot. He suffered with headaches.
Oh yeah.
He knew he was not an attractive man, and he kind of suffered from that. And maybe that's why you told him to grow a beard, Allie.
Yeah.
But
because he did look good in it, I think.
He did.
Yeah, it looked better.
He looked very stately with his beard and his.
And his wife was whack-a-doodle, so you know you got. It's probably why you had a headache all the time.
She would probably watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, you got to watch this show. It's very, very good. Yeah. All right. So, Cynthia Pierce, what do you see for my son Joseph in the next 6 months? So, Cynthia, we can read on the energies around you and Joseph, but we can't do a third-party reading. So, we'll do the best we can for him, for you today.
So I mean, I may be completely wrong. I really don't know. I'm just getting that. I hate to tell you what to do. It's really hard to say. Maybe try some tough love. But let him know that you're there if he really does need you. So I may be completely wrong about that because we don't really read people.
It's all right, Jenny. What do you got, Juno?
Well, I pulled from the Moon Oracle, Moonology deck, sorry. And the card I pulled was expect powerful change, new moon eclipse energy. So there's some big change that's going to be coming to both of you, through your relationship. And it says, never mind the past, life evolves every single day. So I'm thinking, and I'm thinking this because of Christmas and we're likely to be around people that maybe we're not usually around. But, if in a moment you're having a difficult time, go into a future time stream and into a happier time stream and focus on that energy, pull that energy back into the present to help you deal with if there's a challenge going on. And it says you're being shunted towards your life purpose. So I get the feeling like perhaps the relationship is holding you back from doing something that you want to do. Okay. Then know that it's okay. You have permission. It's your choice. It's your life. You will be the best example by living your life to the fullest as best you can. And it says this is an important turning point in your life. So go for it. It's okay. He's your son. he's still going to be your son. He's still going to love you. It's important for, and sometimes it's like at first when we say something to people that doesn't align with what they thought it should be, it stings them a little bit. But then after they have time to think about it and see how well you're doing, then they realize, oh, yeah, I'm totally in support of what you're doing. And I feel like that's what's going to happen here. And I wish you a lot of luck with that. And thanks for your question.
So I got here that you know the truth. You're a smart cookie. You know what's going on. And something about a package deal. He's going to have to make up his mind whether it's all or nothing. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's what I'm getting. And so you may have to make a bold statement to him. Speak about what it is that you know. But remember, we brought our children into the world, and we've guided them as best we can. And now we've got to let them have their wings. And so we can help them as much as we would, we're able to do that. But we also have to let them live the life that they came here to live. And that's not always easy because we like to take care of them and be happy. So much love. Okay, sweetie. Okay. So Ellen says, is there any significance to my nightmare last night? Well, I'm going to say, if you remember it, there's a message in it. And I'm going to say that there's always a significance to any dream you can remember. But that has to come from you more than anybody else. But if you want to bring it tomorrow night to our dream show, it's at 6:00 Wednesday night, and you want to tell us what the nightmare was about, we can take a deeper look, honey. Yep. Any comments from either of you?
I don't know. The only nightmares I used to have was that I was driving a car that was out of control, and that was a stress dream. I felt that my life was out of control.
Out of control.
At that time. I had no control over what was going on.
Sure.
And I really didn't.
But you figured it out.
You do spiritually. So, manifesting in the future, but at the time, and then I always had the dream where, and I've even had it just maybe in the past 6 months, where you miss class and then you miss a class in college and then you're not going to graduate. And then
oh my God, that happened to me for years.
I really am seriously, no, I'm not going to graduate. Oh my God, I screwed up. I don't know where the class was. I didn't go to the class.
Right.
And then when I wake up, I still think, oh my God, I'm not going to graduate. And then I have to remind myself, and it takes about, 10 minutes to go, oh, but you already graduated from college.
I know. I got it. I never dropped the class. That's what was my thing. I forgot to drop the class and I was going to get a failure.
Yeah, I could never find the class. I didn't go to the class, couldn't find the class, couldn't find the class for the exam.
Sure. All right. Juno, any comment from you?
The first thing that popped into my head was, what did you eat before you went to bed? Because sometimes it's as simple as that, I'm not saying that, I'm not downgrading the meaning of her dream, but that was what I heard right away. So, and that whatever that is might have more significance rather than just the fact that it upset your system.
Yeah, very much. Thank you, Ellen. Okay, Froxy, have I ever had children in a past lifetime? And if so, how many? Now, they're not going to be able to do all your past lifetimes, but they might be able to find a significant one. She says, or will I have some in the next lifetime?
That's a whole Akashic Records reading for an hour that you can book with Juno.
I'd be happy to help Roxy, and I totally agree. That's a big meatball there.
that's a whole hour.
That's too big. All right. Yeah. And as far as next lifetime, that's going to be your choice before you incarnate. I don't know. I mean, I do know that we are on a time continuum and we're living in all three, past, present, and future all the time. But still, it's going to be a sacred contract that you're going to make as far as whether you want to have any in the
so
future.
We've had thousands of lifetimes, unless we're like Susan Lynn, that's only had like 4 on Earth, 3 or 4. She says. But everybody else, normal people, have had thousands of lifetimes. So in those thousands of lifetimes, yes, you've had thousands of children. but
Sure.
not in every lifetime.
Right. Right. And sometimes your children can come back as your lover, your mother, your father. I mean, your best
Even
friend,
your
whatever.
soul family, you'll be brother, sister, husband, wife, mother's son, everything.
Yeah. Yep. It's just that someone told her she was supposed to have 4 children in this lifetime, but you have none. Okay. I know that palm readers sometimes can see it.
Yeah.
And yeah. Any comments from you at all, Juno?
Well,
I don't want to.
I mean, timelines do change, and as we ascend, our timelines are shifting. It's a possibility, and she has free will. So before she came to Earth, she probably wrote the contract that she wasn't going to have children in this lifetime, or she changed her mind. Because if you write a contract, then you can get out of it if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that person who told her she was going to have 4 was not accurate either. That's also a possibility. Like just take it into account rather than don't make yourself crazy over it, and then doubt everything else. And I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying those are all possibilities.
And then you
could have been reading a different lifetime.
Your pets can be your children,
right?
You can have friends that you take care of, and they become your children.
Yeah,
your husband may be your child. I mean, there's all kinds of ways.
I only can tell you this. I was told I was in the middle of my 3rd marriage, and somebody said, "Oh, you're going to be married 4 times," and I thought I would fall on the floor. And so I don't know if I made it happen or if it was supposed to happen, but
And 4 was the charm,
with me with
right?
3 marriages, same exact thing, Allie. So.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
I'm glad they didn't tell me 4. You're braver than I.
All right. So Sherry says, "May I ask what opportunities are coming for my husband? Do you need his name?" Or
we can't read on other people.
That's very true. We can only read. We can only read I can give you
unless
what's
he wants
around.
to come on and ask himself, then he can do that.
Yeah. It is a 3rd-party reading. I could look at this just around your own situation. Let's put me for you is what I'm saying. So here, this may answer it. You're going to have a brighter future, and you do need variety, and so I think you're going to have some perhaps some prosperity coming in, and maybe that will be from him or from yourself. I don't know. There you go. All right. But you're right, Jenny. Yep. Okay. Lisa M. Did I reincarnate soon after a life as a blonde female photographer?
Okay. I've seen this question 3 times.
You have?
Is it the same person?
Lisa M? I don't
know. Because I read it and I saw her walking on the ocean with the waves crashing and like big cliffs, and she was a female photographer.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's not the question. The question is, did you
after a life?
After?
Yeah. I pulled the Divine Director, and it says to trust the process, create space for a divine order to unfold. So I'm not exactly sure if you came directly after that lifetime or if that was a lifetime prior for that, but it says that you did create the space in order to come back after that lifetime. That's what the answer that I have.
Do you know, I mean, there's a lot of people say that, you go, when you pass, you stay over there for how many years, and then you come back.
I'm no expert on the timing of that. I've heard all kinds of variations, and that's what I was thinking, like, how is that physically possible? Because we haven't had photography for thousands of years or anything.
Well, that's very true.
So it'd be more recent. Yeah. I'm just looking at, and I'm not saying yes or no.
But it was like during the 40s, 50s, or 60s, 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you died and you came right back. How old are you?
And that can
Well, yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. And I pulled for her the card 7 of Keys, the Ascent. And it says there's a goal high above you, but you have to climb a steeper hill to get there. So I'm feeling no, not right away. That's just what I'm getting, and I'm not trying to be a wet blanket, but that's just like it was.
There's
It's
nothing
something
wrong with that
it's
answer.
it's like a goal that you had, but you didn't reach it. That's
okay. Well,
that's
and again, I got the divine director, so that could say that, you know, the director says not this take, you know, right?
Yeah.
That they're in charge.
That's good, Allie. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The old movie hit. All right.
But you know, like we say with everybody, Jenny said this earlier. What you get from your feelings are what's most important. Is how you do it. Don't take any
for
of
dreams,
this,
for visions, for everything. Yes.
They take bits and pieces of it, and whatever suits your story, that's what that's what you stay with, because that's what Spirit wants you to know.
Yeah.
We're not omnipotent. We don't know everything.
So now I'm really curious. Do you mind, Rossi, telling us what year you were born?
Oh, you're not talking about
No,
the
other person.
the other
Who
one.
was it?
The other person.
What was her name?
I can't
Linda?
remember her name. Lisa M. Was it Lisa M?
Okay.
Yeah.
So can does she mind telling us what year she was born?
What year were you born? If you're still here, Lisa.
Okay, so let's say, would it be?
Oh, your first past life reading. Okay.
Would it be after?
Say, like, were you born
after
in
1970 or after 1968? Now you can kind of figure that out if you get like a reading, a real hour-long reading. I think that can be figured out.
Right.
Yeah.
These and are. I'm not saying no. It's just that it just didn't. It wasn't like a yes, like a a sense of that could happen right away. And that might be my ego mind trying to work out the math of it all and the possibility. But
well, so it is possible. If you were a photographer in the 40s and the 50s and you were born in 1960, 1965, or 1970, it's possible.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that it's very important for everybody to know is that these are just mini readings.
Yeah.
There's no way we can go very deeply with this because it's too quick. You know, it's just too quick. Because female photographers were rare in the past, Lisa says. Yeah, that's true. Valerie wonders, isn't it possible to look into future lives? And I would say, yes, it is, Valerie. I do. But I'm also thinking that like when we do card readings, that the potentiality is still iffy because we're the ones that create the contracts.
Well, the possibility is there and we have free will, but the energy, we can kind of read the energy around something, but born in 1966.
1966.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's possible. It's
possible. It is possible then, Lisa.
You passed in 1948 and you came back, or 1946 or 56, came back 10, 20 years later. That's possible. And that's fast. That's pretty fast.
Yeah. And you could also have an attachment. I don't mean attachment in the bad way. That might not be the right word, but you might have a guide or somebody who was a photographer back then, like how Craig Dixon has Clara that comes through and works with him.
Mm-hmm.
No, I remember somebody did a reading on her. I can't remember who it was, and they said she was a famous photographer, female, and everybody looked up to her.
Yeah.
And then I saw her walking on the beach, so I kind of piggybacked on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have been the beach in France with the cliffs, or it could have been in California with the cliffs. Who knows?
I wonder if this is Mary. I'm not sure. Mary wonders, is it possible to set an intention for a future life to come back to a place and work on that now in the present? I think it's possible. Anything that we intend is possible, Mary. I really do. Okay, Mickey Walk says, I write and one of my characters is a photographer in 1898. In my research, there are tons of female photographers, just not remembered.
Right.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, I did think about it, the 19th century, but you may not have heard about them like you say. So thanks, Mickey. I appreciate
Well, and I
it.
guess I was hanging up on the idea of right away afterwards. Like, did she
Right.
immediately? So that was where I was.
Uh-huh. Yep. All right,
Feeling.
let's we have a couple more to do, and then we're going to do a collective read today. So Rossi wonders, what was my most recent past life? We might be able to tell you. It's kind of a generic question, Rossi, but we'll try.
Well, I get that you were in World War II. I don't know if that was your most recent, but that's what I'm getting.
Okay. Was she male?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
fought in World War II.
Okay.
She might have been a spy.
Oh, Rossi. Cool.
A spy for good.
Okay. Not Mata Hari.
No, no. So in intelligence, I think she was in
Oh,
intelligence
okay.
in Europe, and she was in Europe, not in Asia.
Hmm.
But that's just what I get. So I don't know what you got, Juno.
Well, it's interesting. I pulled again from the Akashic Tarot for Rossi, and I got card number 15, the Muse. And
Hmm.
did you say Mata Hari? Did you
I
say
did.
that,
I
or
didn't
was
say
I?
she was. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, what I
yeah.
mean by that is somebody who inspired something. I can see it going along with the spy thing, like you
Mm-hmm.
inspired something behind the scenes, or something that you did. Then they went, oh, now we can take that idea and magnify it, and like I'm thinking of uh, Hedy Lamarr. Like
Oh,
she was an
yes.
actress, but
Yeah.
she had something to do with why we even have cell phones, I think. And
Okay.
I see that for Rossi, that to going along with that lifetime that Jenny was talking about, but there was something that she, and I don't know if,
Who was that
I'm
famous
feeling
actress that
female.
played Sabrina in the movie? And she, before she became an actress, she was in World War II and she was a teenager and she was in intelligence.
Audrey Hepburn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
yeah, and Julia Childs was like she.
I'm not saying, that
Yeah.
you're
But I mean, I feel that's the
on
feeling that
Hepburn.
I'm getting, that you inspired something from behind the
Something.
scenes, that they took
Yeah.
that and ran with it. That
Good for
like how there were
you.
people who read code and all these different, broke codes
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But you were the inspiration for something that was like a big deal with how they um,
Mhm.
how they won the war. Is what
Oh,
what I
yes.
feel.
Oh, she says Marlena Dietrich.
And a
Yeah,
lot of people that were in World
nice
War
legs.
II, a lot of
Yeah.
people that were in the Civil War were back.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
yeah.
those of us that were on the side of good, we're back to make sure that things go well. So
Right.
Rossi, I would say that you're one of the
Yeah.
people that are back to
One
make
of
sure
those
things go well.
three waves of light workers, and we probably were here either in 1776 or in the 1860s, wherever. Yeah,
Or,
a lot of us
or you
came
could have
back.
been here in like every single war. You could have been here. You could have been in this Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II,
Well,
Mhm.
then
and
you
back.
think of, like, with the Muse idea, think of Helen of Troy, the old saying about that face that
Yeah,
launched 1,000 ships. It's that kind of idea that maybe that's the thread of her lifetimes, that she's
that's true.
inspired actions or creations by other people with a muse coming through. You do a lot with being a muse.
And
That's
I'm
true.
getting
You
really
can be a
excited in
muse.
my heart. So I think this is, pretty much on the right track. On the right track, maybe
That's
not
cool, Rossi.
specifically, but on the right
That's
track.
cool. Yeah. All right, we got room for one more here today. It was Randy wondering who she was in ancient Egypt, and then we'll do a collective read for everybody. Okay. Yeah. It is interesting. Yeah.
So I have to say what I get. I hear that you were in transportation in ancient Egypt. So you were like a
Oh.
boat person, a boat captain, or you moved people on the river, you moved goods on the river, and you knew the flow, you knew the flow of the river and the seasons, and you were connected to the earth by that.
Mhm.
And you were revered, and people listened to you.
Wow. That's
So
cool.
that's what I got.
All right. Juno?
Well, it's interesting. I pulled for Randy. I pulled the King of Scrolls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think you had
Empress.
something. You had something to do with documenting whether the activities that were going on with the building of things there, whether it was the pyramids or other structures. But yeah, and I don't feel this in the sense of the religious type scrolls, but more the day to day, the activities, keeping track of materials used and methods used. But I encourage you to go back and access that information, because I think that there's, again, play around with some automatic writing, because I have a feeling again that you're going to, if you write some things down, you're going to find the phrases. If you go and research it, you're going to see a connection there somehow. But yeah, you had a job, a role of authority and respect and responsibility back then. So
Wonderful.
that's what I get.
Thank you, dear. All right, everybody. As promised, we're going to do a collective read for everybody here. There could be several ancient Egyptian past lives. Oh, yes, because we go way, way back. Yeah, there's tons of them. Sure. All right, so let's get this down and let's see what comes through. Juno, you can go first because you pulled those cards.
Yeah, I'm just kind of getting.
Sure.
I'm not that familiar with these, so I'm getting.
Okay, honey.
And I wanted to go back to the. Was it Carolyn, the one who about the photographer?
Oh yes, Lisa.
What I was feeling was if she was asking, like, if there was an incarnation between that lifetime as a photographer and her current lifetime. That's what held me. Like, I felt like that she was asking if there was a life in between those.
Oh, okay.
And that's not what
I think she just. Yeah, I'm
when she
thinking
came
that
back,
it might be this one, right?
Yeah.
It might be this one. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like there was a step in between, I guess is what my reading was.
Sure.
And I didn't know if that was clear.
Okay.
It's interesting. I pulled out my Nostradamus deck, which I don't do very often, and the pictures are not really easy to make out. But this card, it's the Three of Stars. They have different suits. Mm-hmm. But it says, through great dangers, the captive escapes. Quite soon, fortune will be changed. And I really think that that's what's coming for us. Like what happened, like you said, today in Colorado, that it's the tides are turning. When you make such a big shift, it's kind of a big wide arc. You can't do a hairpin turn because then some people are going to get thrown off or, whatever. It's too much or they'll have a bad effect. So we're on that big curve of things starting to come into a more positive way for all of us, I think. And I find a lot of hope in that card. I'm just trying to see if there was anything else that, because I think we've been feeling really like our whole lives have been turned upside down and we don't have control of things. And I think this is showing that we're moving in a new direction. It's going to get better next year.
Mm-hmm. Good.
If I have anything to say about it, that's the way it's going to be.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. You do your magic for us, and we'll be happy. Is there another one you're pulling?
No, I'm just gonna stay with that to not
stay with that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Jenny.
So I have these Louise Hay self-esteem cards, and I thought that would be good for the collective. So what I pulled was, I am loved and accepted exactly as I am, right here and right now.
Absolutely. And so it is. It's right, Randy. The fact that that we only have right now. I mean, we we probably live in 3 different dimensions and all kinds of different places. But from what we know right now, it's just the present. It's the gift that we have. I read somewhere today that some spiritual seekers, psychics, empaths, intuitive people are pulling back because they're afraid of ridicule. And that some of them are getting downloads that are telling them to pull back. The only thing I can say is remember what your intention is. Remember your intention. Remember what it is that you're hoping for. A lot of people need support. A lot of people need to know that that collective community is there for them, just like we started out with Mousy in the very beginning. And so if you feel the need to pull back because you're wanting to protect yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. But just remember that we're here to help each other. We're here to help uplift humanity. We're here to ascend to the higher dimensions, and also to be humble and loving and kind and compassionate to all the people on the earth. And thank you, Amanda. That's a beautiful ending. All is well in this moment. Thank you for that.
And just holding space for others. You know, if you're not feeling well, or you can't get out and doing something physically to, you know, or whatever it is, it as much as you can find just a moment here and a moment there, and sometimes maybe string some moments together where you can just be in peace and send that out and hold that peaceful space, that's way more powerful, because that's not easy to do. It sounds like such a simple thing, and it's something that anyone can do, and it has profound ripple effects.
It really does. It really does. So thank you to everybody in the chat. You're wonderful. Thank you so much to Jenny Starfish for being here with us today. And
thank you, Allie.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you. And I loved having my 2 J's with me today. So thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Juno. And much love to you, and happy holidays. And thank you, everybody. Much love. We appreciate you. We'll see you again soon.
And thank you, Allie, for having us on. We appreciate you. You're such a you're very important in our community.
You're the glue.
Very much.
Thank you, ladies. You're so kind. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.